So in the middle. All good. Okay. Well, Milos, thank you for joining us. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the Emirates ATP Rankings Google Plus Hangout with ATP World Tour number 15, Milos Raonic. Milos, thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Martin. Absolutely thrilled to have Milos. We're here live from Barcelona. How's your day going so far?
Good. I got an early practice in, so I'm going to try to enjoy the rest of the day, play tomorrow, so have a nice relaxing day today.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, so thanks to Emirates, the official airline of the ATP World Tour, we now get fans from all over the world together to share a few exciting moments with some of the ATP stars through a series of ATP Rankings Google Plus Hangouts during the season. So today we're delighted to have...
We're chilling here in Barcelona.
Exactly. We're delighted to have Milos with us. So before we get going, let's ask Milos a little bit about how his week is going so far here out on the clay court and in the sunshine, and any tapas. Are you enjoying yourself?
I am enjoying myself. I actually just had a little bit of pia, so that's pretty Spanish. And having a good time. Tennis today obviously is going on here at the event, but everybody seems to be talking more about the Champions League matches than any tennis play going on. So it's a pretty exciting time, back and forth talk in the locker rooms.
Are you going to watch any Champions League?
I will watch a little bit, but I'll cheer on Barcelona today.
Oh, very wise choice, but obviously focused on the tennis in hand. So before we get started with all the questions, let's have a quick round of introductions, basically, to the guys who are here, waiting to speak with you and ask you a few questions. So we have hello to Juan Solsona, a journalist here in Barcelona. Hi to Julien Perard in South Africa, Pranav in Dubai, Angeline in Canada, Aldolfo, who's just in Madrid, and George, who's in London in the UK. So hello guys, and thank you for joining us. So to start things off, we would like to ask Juan what your question is for Milos, please. So I'm not sure if you quite heard that one. That's why I come.
How much I enjoy playing.
Yeah, and what your ties are to this city.
Okay, I repeat the question, Milos. I would like to know how special is for you to play in Barcelona when you live part of the year and most of your team is already from here. So how special is it?
No, it's special. It's fun, and it's a relaxing experience at the same time because I have a lot of familiarity here. I know the restaurants I like to go to, so I have a little bit of a routine here. So it's definitely enjoyable to play here. I even practice sometimes here at the Real Club, the Tennis Barcelona. So it feels somewhat homely, and that's definitely a nice release of stress of guessing which restaurants I want to go to and where the good food is in each city. So it's definitely a lot easier on me this week.
And Juan, if you've got one more question for Milos, we can have two each today before we move on to the next person. If you've got.
Okay, I would like to know how difficult it is to jump from Milos from the Indian Wells and Miami to the clay court season, in the sense that the game is more specific in hardcore. How difficult it is to jump in only 1-2 weeks to the clay court season?
Yeah, I think I'm getting better with it. Playing two years on clay now, so I'm enjoying it more. I'm less stressed about the whole change of playing on clay. But I had also a Davis Cup week, so I didn't have as much time as I normally would. But so far, it's been going really well. I'm really happy with how I'm playing. really happy with the progress I'm making, and it's enjoyable at the same time, and I'm having a lot of fun out there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Wayne. Julien in Cape Town in South Africa. I believe you have a question for Milos.
Yeah, hi Milos. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. My question is in two parts. So the first part was, did you know how many countries you actually played last year?
How many countries?
Yeah.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I started in India, then I went to Australia, so that's 2. Then I played in the US, played Davis Cup in Canada, so that's already at 4. Then went to Monaco, Spain, 2 weeks, Italy, France,
A
London,
lot.
Germany, where else? Back to Canada, back to the States again. Then I went to Thailand. Then I went to Japan, China, Spain again, and Paris. So I think I counted 13 or 18.
Yeah, I think that's just about it. Yeah. So the question was, I mean, how do you actually see the traveling part? You know, you obviously go to 13 countries, sometimes maybe 20 countries a year. Do you still feel like it is traveling? You know, do you still have time to actually enjoy the surroundings and the sightseeings, or is it just part of the job? You know, is it just going to a place?
I think I know more what every airport looks like in the world than I do what the cities look like.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
Enjoy and everything, but no, I get to enjoy the cities. I think each city, and also depending on schedules, some tournaments, especially here through the clay season, there are no night matches because they don't play under lights.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
have a lot more time at night to enjoy because you probably aren't playing late. Whereas some events, there are a lot of late night matches. So I've gotten to enjoy my fair share of cities. I remember when I was in 2011 in playing in Johannesburg, I got to do the safari, and that was one of
Cool.
the special experiences I've had on tour.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, that one got you thinking, I think. A lot of countries to count up. Thanks, Julien. Pranav, if you can hear us, and if you have a question for Milos. Hello, Pranav, can you hear us? Okay. Sorry, Pranav, if you can hear us, we can't hear you at the moment. Can we skip on to Angeline? And Angeline is in Toronto. So.
It's cold there, I think. I don't know. It's actually going up and down a lot.
Hey, Milos, as a child, what did you want to be when you grow up?
What did I want to be? I think outside of tennis, I probably would have been busting my butt in school to do well. Education was important to my parents, and probably something along the lines of finance. So I don't know exactly what, but somewhere there.
Okay, cool. And do you have one more question, Angeline?
Yes, I do. What country has the best food that you've been to?
Country has the best food.
Not here.
I have like 2 mixed opinions here. Spain does have very good food. Italy has great food. And then the thing why the US stands out to me is because you have good all kinds of food. There's so much variety. I guess growing up in Canada as well, I got used to being able to have great sushi one day, to having great Italian food the next day, to having a great steakhouse. So I think all the places have good food, but I think one specific thing that really stands out to me, I have an addiction for tiramisu, and they tend to do it really the best in Italy. So I think that place really stands out to me, and I do look forward to all the tiramisu I do enjoy there, probably more than I should.
So you're making sure you go to Rome?
No, we have a rule. If there's tiramisu in the menu, I have to have the dessert. If it's not, I can skip dessert that day.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. See you at Rogers Cup.
See you there.
Okay, great. And Adolfo, who's not too far away, up in Madrid.
Hello, Milos. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I have 2 questions. The first one is, as you know, there are thousands of players around the world that uh, are pretty talented, are playing futures and challengers. They are hard workers, but they don't manage to get to the top. And you got to the top. Do you think there is a special thing or any key to get to the top?
I think it's tough to name one specific thing, but one thing that I've noticed with everybody that's on the tour, the time I've spent the last two years and a half on tour, really with the top guys, is there's not one person on tour that doesn't work hard, and obviously you have to be fortunate with good health, with talent, with also many other aspects of playing tennis. But I think one common denominator with everybody, along with the skill, is that everybody works extremely hard and everybody's extremely competitive. And that's one thing that it's sometimes tough to accept, because a lot of people expect if they work hard, they're going to get the result right away. But it takes a lot of patience. Sometimes sort of the work kicks in 1 week, sometimes it kicks in 1 year, 2 years, but you just have to be patient with that.
Okay, thank you very much. And my second question is, what's the hardest situation that you have ever faced on a match, and how did you overcome it?
The hardest situation, I think one of the toughest moments, really, there's so many different ways, but I think one of the toughest moments, and one that comes up the most, is when you're not playing as well as you hope, when you're not dealing with expectations well, and when you're feeling nervous. And I think one way to always sort of be able to at least start getting better throughout the match is by focusing on all the things you can control, focusing on yourself. A lot of people sometimes get caught up in what their opponent is doing and what's going on outside the court and so forth, and that can be very frustrating, but those things you have no control over. Whereas if you focus on yourself, you can be a little bit more demanding of yourself, and you can at least control what you put there. You can't control what your opponent does. So I think if you just focus on the right things and in the moment, not focusing on what might have happened 1 or 10 points before, it helps a lot.
Thank you very much, Milos.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adolfo. And so next we have George, who's in London in the UK.
Hey Milos,
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I've got a tough question for you, so I'll give you, I say 5 seconds to think about it. So imagine you can pick any player from in all time, like any player, current, past, present. Who would you pick and why?
To play against? I didn't hear that part. To play against?
To play with in doubles. To play with.
Pete Sampras.
Yeah. How come?
Yeah, I think just because I idolize the guy so much, and I think because I watched him so closely, I know more what to expect from him than other players. And I was fortunate enough in 2011 to play against him, and that was a pretty special experience. But to play with him, I think, would be another amazing moment for myself. I think it would help me a lot as a player where I am now, and it will help me learn a lot. But I think also it would help me satisfy like a little childhood dream of because he did retire much more earlier before I started playing, and to sort of satisfy a little childhood dream, that would be pretty special.
And who would you play against if you could pick a team to play against in that match?
A team or one player?
So it's you and Pete against 2 other guys. Who do you want to play against?
Borg and McEnroe. I don't think you ever saw them on the same side of the court before. They had some pretty epic battles. So
Yeah.
especially with McEnroe, he can always put on a show. And then you have the Iceman Borg. So I think that would be a pretty interesting combination to put on the other side.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, that would be a good one, actually.
And my second question would be, obviously you're in the semi-finals of the Davis Cup. How would you rate that in comparison to another tournament? So would you swap all of your titles you've won so far to win the Davis Cup, or would you rate it as like a Grand Slam? Like, how do you see it?
I think would I swap my titles? I would swap a few of them. I don't think I would swap my first title for the Davis Cup just because the first one meant so much. But I would swap my other ones to win the Davis Cup. And I think it would be pretty special. And where it would rate, it would rate up there, I think, very close to winning a Grand Slam. I think it's a very rare opportunity, but the only reason I might put a Grand Slam ahead of Davis Cup in this goal stature and how much you look up to it is, as a kid, Grand Slam was everything. Growing up, you watched all the Grand Slams, you wanted to win all the Grand Slams, and you wanted to participate in them, everything. So a Grand Slam, not only now does it mean a lot, but it meant from the earliest stages of my tennis life, it meant a lot, especially seeing Pete win so many. So I think that's the only thing really that holds up the Grand Slam title a little bit higher.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, lovely. That was great. Shall we try Pranav once more? Pranav, are you there? Can you hear us?
Hi, Milos.
Okay, perfect. We can hear you.
Hi, Milos. Pranav, I'm a big fan of yours. It has always been my dream to interact with a top tennis player, and I'm really thankful for Emirates for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be a part of this hangout. Firstly, Milos, I'd like to ask you, being in Canada, which is actually an ice hockey loving nation, what made you think about pursuing a career as a professional tennis player?
Oof, now I think it's something I've given more thought to, but as a kid, really, I didn't think too much about it. Tennis was what I wanted to be doing. I wasn't thinking, oh, everybody else is playing hockey, I want to play hockey. No, tennis was what I really enjoyed, and especially the individuality of it stood out to me. And I think that it's the reception tennis has been getting in Canada has been pretty spectacular, especially doing well in the Davis Cup has helped a lot with getting attention to it. And I think there's a lot more support for it from individuals, from families, from kids, from parents, but also from the corporate world. And that gives us the opportunity to grow tennis more in Canada, to have more events, smaller events, hopefully in the future have more bigger events. And I think when kids see this, I think it will also help sort of roll the way down to younger ages and younger kids wanting to be more in tennis and working harder with tennis in mind.
Just one more question, Milos. When taking a break from tennis, what activities normally do you indulge in to let off some steam?
So, can you repeat that one again?
I'm sorry, when taking a break from tennis, what activities normally do you indulge in to let off some steam?
When I'm taking a break, I think when I'm on tour and taking a break, I tend to watch a lot of movies in the hotel room. I tend to sort of turn into like a caveman and not come out too much and just indulge in that kind of stuff. But when I'm home, it's about spending time really with my family and my friends, catching up, going to a sports bar, watching all other sports, especially basketball, which I enjoy so much. So it's about just sort of catching up on a lot of things that you miss, I guess, from traveling so much, from being in so many different time zones. And one of my favorite things is being able to watch other sporting events, especially basketball. Now that the playoffs is going on in the States, I can't really follow too much. I follow only score updates in the morning. But when I get a chance to really watch on the weekend, I try to. And it's these kind of things I really enjoy, especially with friends around.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Milos.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thanks, man. And well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I think the guys all
Thank you.
enjoyed having the chance to
Milos.
speak today, so thanks for taking a few minutes to come and say hello to them all. And that's all we have time for today. Thanks mainly to Milos, of course, and thank you to the Skywards members, ATP World Tour and Emirates Facebook fans, Juan Salsana as well, for making today happen. And of course, most importantly, a very special thanks to special player Milos.
Thank you all for coming out.
We look forward to our next Emirates ATP Rankings Google Plus Hangout with another ATP World Tour star very soon. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
Good
See you
evening.
in Madrid.
That's all.
Here you are.